Well, hello, my good people. Back again with Alexander Avenue, and this time I have a very special guest with me, and this guest is my wife, Melanie. And we'll be talking about some basketball, y'all, some good basketball, We will be revealing our top 10, our personal. This is not a top 10 based on stats. This is not a top 10 based on what the sports writers say or whatever like that. This is just our personal top 10 basketball players, and we're gonna back it up with reasons why and their stats and everything else. Melanie?
Yes, good afternoon. Looking forward to doing this. I know we've got some in common and some that are very, very different.
Yes, we do. And it's going to be very controversial. I think on my list, it'll be the most controversial.
Yes, very.
And, we're going to start by this. I'm going to say who just missed making my top 10. The ones that are outside the box for me, who just missed making my top 10. And I think this is going to cause a lot of confusion, but this is me. This is my personal list.
And everybody, when you hear this, please comment on the atrocities that he is saying, because you all agree with me anyway. So go ahead, babe.
All right, here we go, Dawn. Okay, my first notable would be Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
My second notable will be Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
My third notable will be Allen Iverson, formerly of Philadelphia 76ers, Denver Nuggets, so forth. My next notable, very controversial, I'm quite sure, but this is my personal. I have my reasons. Next notable is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is my next notable. And the last of my five notables is Stephen Curry.
Oh my God. Did you hear that, people? He has notables. Not in his top 10. He has them as notables.
Hey, it's my personal thing.
Steph Curry.
It's my personal thing.
And the best basketballer of all time, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, does not make his top 10. This is his personal top 10.
It's my
not
personal.
Based on,
Again, underlining statement on the theme of the show, my personal. Okay? My personal.
So we already know that his personal top 10 sucks. All right. Even before we get into the personal top 10, we know it sucks.
It's one man's opinion.
This is who I married. Okay, so my notables, which I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me, are Scottie Pippen. You have to give it to him. I mean, he played with Jordan. They were a team.
Okay.
Giannis, the Greek freak.
Okay.
He is amazing.
Okay, you agree with me with him.
I agree with you with that. Kawhi Leonard. Now, I love Kawhi Leonard.
He should not be a notable. He should be on your top 10.
I love Kawhi.
But that's your personal. See, I understand.
Kawhi Leonard.
I understand. He should be in your top 10.
He gets hurt too much. The man has no stamina with his body. And he's not a small guy. He's not like Kevin Durant, who's like all bone. But it's not good enough. My fourth notable is Patrick Ewing. Now,
I agree with that.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing. Now, this was hard for me because...
He wasn't even on my list, period.
No, you forgot about him.
And I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Knicks fan.
Right, you should be ashamed of that.
No.
And my fifth and final notable, and he could be in my top 10, but I just didn't put him there because there are two others that beat him out, is Cp3 Chris Paul. Love him. Amazing player.
Again, we're talking about 10. We're talking about 10 of your personal. So
right. Well, he could have been there, but he just got picked out.
You're talking about choosing between, guards, point guards, forwards, small power forwards,
right,
small forwards, and centers. Right. So I'm quite sure you have. I hate to say it about CP3, but you're gonna have possibly in your personal. It depends on the person's personal. That's their personal opinion, though. So I can't really say this neither.
Right.
But not too many people are gonna put him over a certain amount of players. If you're talking about all-time top 10, your all-time favorite top 10, you're going to include, I'll give you Jordan. You're going to include Magic. And let me get back about this Jordan situation that...
You just don't like him.
No. No. To be honest, I didn't like him because he's a Chicago Bull and I'm a New York Knicks fan.
Yeah, also, but you don't like him as a person.
He made me cry.
You don't like him.
He made me cry. Okay, he made me cry, and the thing is, I can remember about and I don't want to turn this into a show about Michael Jordan.
No.
But Michael Jordan, and you know it for yourself, I was gonna put Michael Jordan in my top 10.
Yes.
But I had to think about it, and I thought about the guys that I already had in my top 10. That when I watched Michael Jordan play, I wanted them to beat Michael Jordan.
Yes,
so that would be very hypocritical.
So...
I wouldn't want to put him on a list just to make it be like, oh, he agreed. I'm not going to just agree to agree. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going to agree to agree.
But you do still admit, though.
I still have scars from those games with the Knicks. He's
that good of a player.
Come on, we haven't.
Scars on the big man from
neither
New York.
one of us have mentioned the other GOAT that they want to claim.
Well, he's not on our list, is he?
He's not on either list.
Well, is he?
Well, I don't know. I done blew it, right? Here we go. You know what I mean? But we haven't mentioned. Is he better than Michael or Michael better? That's for another show.
Yeah, that is for another show, and I think that's probably one of the great basketball debates. Is the king better than the GOAT?
No, and I gotta say,
in my opinion, he's not.
The king, I agree with you there. Michael Jordan, right. Although he's not in my personal, let me make this statement, not in my personal top 10. Right. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Which is, I do have my personal top 10, but a lot of my players on my personal top 10 are based on what they've done. Yeah. You can't have a personal top 10. You can, but
either you like them or you don't.
If you really like basketball, you're not going to have one of the bench players as your personal top 10 because, you want them to be able to play well. You want to be able to watch them play. You want stats, the stats as well. Anyway, let's get on to this top 10.
Let's do the drum roll. And as we started off, you're going to start first, Mel.
Okay, so...
As we started off... No, not yet.
Okay.
We started off, I got to do this when they do it on TV. Let's do it on TV. There used to be a show like the NFL, whatever they do. Number 10.
So, my number 10 is David Robinson.
Okay.
Now... There's a lot of things why he made my list. I'm sure a lot of you out there are laughing right now. You're like, oh God, yeah, typical woman pick. Well, this is a personal top 10. David Robinson was a great player, fantastic rebounder. I just happen to think he was also a very, very, very handsome man. I used to sneak downstairs early Saturday mornings and catch either the last half of the NBA, the game, or they had a special show that they also, like they did all the NBA.
Now, tell the audience where you're from.
I will. They had a special show with all the NBA highlights. And I'd sneak down every Saturday morning to catch it, make sure that I didn't wake anybody up. And this was back in Melbourne, Australia. So yes, David Robinson is my top, in my top 10 at number 10. And he wasn't just a looker. He had his things. He made 10 NBA All-Star games. I thought he'd had more rebound. I thought he was the leader of rebound more times than he was. Apparently he only got it once. But He got Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. I mean, come on. He has to be in there somewhere. But that was my top 10. That was my number 10, David Robinson. What's yours, babe?
Well, my number 10 is a guy currently playing right now who I will have to say that he's getting the short end of the deal because he's probably the top, at least in the top 3 of basketball players today. But this team that he has around him has a lot to be, desired because these guys are always hurt. The guys that's supposed to be the main players around him are always hurt. And even if they were around, I don't know if they'd make that much of a difference going up against teams like Golden State and Phoenix. If the Lakers were to get this act together, Clippers get Kawhi back. I don't know, Utah Jazz, you have all these teams. But my guy is Nikola Jokic, and the Joker.
The Joker. All right.
And
the
reason why the Joker, I mean, watching this guy play, I've been watching basketball. I've been a basketball fan since probably 1978. I've been watching it. Now, I started out not late, but I mean, I was pre-teens watching basketball. And my favorite player at the time, everybody spoke about Dr. J and stuff like that. He was great. I liked World Be Free, that's going back. But the reason why I like Joker is because when I watch him, you're looking at a guy that, that's at his height, in his position. He's one of the most skilled, if not the most skilled big man in that position, number 5, that I've seen ever. And I mean, I have some great ones that I've watched, and stuff over the years. And I always try to compare, this I've never seen, except for another guy, a guy playing now, his contemporary, Joel Embiid. I happen to like Joel, but I gotta give Joker a little bit more than that.
He doesn't have a squad. Let's face it. He is an amazing player with no squad.
He's an amazing player, and I do believe if he was to get a squad, get off that. I hate to say get off that team because I'm sick of seeing players leave to play with other stars. I'm one of those guys as well. But if he was to get the right tools around him, I think it'll take it back to old school basketball again too. But old school with a different twist. He's that good. I mean, the guy's he's won an MVP. Most Valuable Player of the Year award last year. He's only 27 years old. He's made the All-NBA All-Star, 4 times. He's a 2-time out of that 2-time first All-NBA first team. And
he's only 27.
He's only 27 years old. Yeah. So there's a big uptick, and I think he's going to move up. He could very well move up in my list of being favorites. You know what I mean? He can move up. I mean, the guy can shoot a 3-pointer. He's like phenomenal. Like it's nothing. And he passes the ball effortless. Like a guard.
Yes.
So you have to give him that.
Yeah. Okay. I like your number 10.
Okay. Thank you. I respect your number 10. David Robinson to me was a guy. There's a guy on my list that played with David Robinson that I like to say punked him out. And there's another guy on my list that played against David Robinson, I like to say punked him out.
Leave David Robinson
No. But I have to admit, David Robinson was a great player.
Yeah.
He was a great player. I just think that when it came down to it, the toughness that he could have shown more toughness, could have had more heart. So now, as we move on, hold on, here we go. We got to do the voice. Number 9.
So my number 9 is Carl the Mailman Malone, and I believe we might have a something happening with this name. You might have him too.
No. I don't. You don't know what I have.
Okay. Karl Malone. I mean, he doesn't have, a huge list of accolades of what he's done, but he did. He was a great player, strong as all what, and he made the NBA All-Star team. How many times do you think?
Well,
14 times.
That's a feat.
That is
All-Star
amazing.
14 times. How many years did he play?
Times.
He started
in 1985.
Yeah, okay.
And he's also got the 2 Olympic gold medals, which is also, that's spans over 8 years.
It's true.
So he had quite a career. I don't really have that much more to say about him, but I think he deserves to be in the top 10.
Okay. In your top 10, your personal top 10.
Yeah,
right.
But even in an all-time top 10, I think he would make
I
it.
think he gets forgotten because of names like LeBron and Duncan.
Right.
And, guys like that, Garnett,
right.
of the world, that came along after him. I mean, to be honest, LeBron pretty much in that position. He plays small and powered. He's changed the game. But before LeBron and all of them, there was Karl Malone.
Right.
And I mean, Karl Malone was a beast.
That.
He was a beast.
Yes.
He was phenomenal.
He was.
My number 9 is going to be the great one. Some people call him the greatest of all time. He's my number 9, and people would probably ask the question, how is he your number 9 when he could be the greatest player of all time, besides of who we've mentioned before, Michael Jordan? No, my number 9 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's reasons why he's my number 9. He's in my top 10. He's one of my favorite players of all time, but he's in my top 10. But the reason why, with all the compliments and everything, I can just run off about Kareem. Kareem is, for one, he was a leader. He was a type of leader. Great leader. He was a six-time MVP. He had 10 NBA Finals appearances. He was as far as the All-Star game, Malone had a lot of All-Star game appearances. Kareem had 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how many rings did Kareem got? I think he's got six rings. Yeah, if Kareem's won 6, he's won 6 times. He's won 6 times.
Well, he won in the year I was born.
He's won as many rings as Michael Jordan. He's just one of those guys. But the reason why he's on my list is because I grew up watching Kareem. I grew up watching Kareem in the Lakers. Number 1, to get this out the way, Lakers are my favorite team of all time. Although I am a Knick fan, the Lakers, my first team I started liking were the Lakers because of a person that's on my list besides Kareem. But also, I am a Brooklyn Nets fan too because I am from Brooklyn. But no, Kareem is from Harlem. He's born in Harlem. So, that's a lot of things with Kareem. And that sky hook was unstoppable. Still to this day, I don't see how they couldn't figure out a way how to, get him. But that sky hook was unstoppable. I think the reason why he's number 9 is because there's guys on my list there's a guy on my list that, I saw go up against Kareem plenty of times when I was young. And I always said, this guy never got the credit. He made his impact. But he never got the credit that was due him for the way he went after Kareem under those boards. And but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the greatest of all time. I'm glad he's on my top. I'm happy. I'm smart enough to put him on my top 10 personal favorites. He's one of the greatest. Yeah, I was glad I was smart enough.
Mm-hmm. No, I can go along with Kareem. I mean,
Da da da! You gotta wait for the drum roll.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Number 8. Now, we might have some people who definitely don't agree with me on this one, but if they've been watching him recently get his ass kicked all over the court, and it brings me to tears almost, is the great one, KD, Kevin Durant. What can you say about him? I mean, he could be one of the GOAT of our time. He might be as good as Jordan. Some people, I don't think he is, but some people probably do. But if you've been watching him recently, he'll bring you to tears because he is getting his ass kicked all over the court by the Boston
Celtics.
Celtics. I don't even want to say their friggin' name because I'm so pissed off at what's happening with that series at the moment.
Team. This is the surprise to me about what's going on with him and the Boston Celtics is just that they're leading 3-0. I mean, it could easily be 2-1,
It should be 2-1.
I think they blew a chance. I love when
we
they go
could do
into
a whole show about this friggin' series.
It could be Boston still winning, but by 2-1.
There's too much selfishness on that Nets team. We don't even need to name. I wouldn't
call it that.
Well, come on. They've got the most selfish player in the whole friggin' NBA on the team.
Come on. No, I don't
yes,
think
they
he's
do.
That, he's not
he is that bad. And, and I'm not talking about Kevin Durant.
I know you're not talking about Kevin Durant.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll put that aside. He's not anywhere near my top 10 of favourites. Kevin Durant. What can you say? I mean, he's the Slim Reaper. The only downside...
He hates that
I know
nickname,
he does
but
hate it.
I love it.
But
we love it.
We love it, and it suits him. The only thing that's very unfortunate about him is he gets hurt. I mean, come on. You can't have legs like that and not get hurt. He has to put on some muscle.
But then if he puts on muscle, he'll pull muscle. But anyway,
he'll break it. He'll snap his legs the way they are at the moment. Amazing. Four-time NBA scoring champion. I mean, that's not easy to do. No. Of course, he got Rookie of the Year. Who would not pick him as a Rookie of the Year? 9-time NBA All NBA selection. 6-time for the first team, 3 times on the second team. I mean, the man is a star. His shooting ability is amazing. He's another one who's effortless. He does have his times where he's off. He has his off days, but very, very few and far between. And I think he definitely deserves to be on my list. That's why he's there at number 8.
Okay. Well, my number 8 just goes back to I believe he was your number 9. Who's your number 9 again?
The mailman.
The mailman. Okay, yeah. So he harkens back to your number 9. Mm-hmm. It's Karl Malone. Mm-hmm. Karl Malone, another guy that I watched that I enjoyed watching. This goes back again. Michael Jordan's all over this show. Even though he's not on my list, he's on hers. But when I watched Utah play the Bulls, the Jazz play the Bulls. I mean, I wanted so much for him and Stockton to take out Michael and Scotty. I wanted him so much to do that, but it didn't happen. No. And I mean, that last shot when he pushes Russell, when Byron Russell gets offensive fouled by Michael Jordan. That's not even. I'm not just saying that did happen. And he hits the game-winning shot. I'm like, oh God, you got to be kidding me. But no, I was a mailman fan. I used to watch him. I tell you, I always respected Charles Barkley. I can't leave him out of this conversation.
Right.
But when I watched Mailman and Barkley go at it, I loved watching that. But Karl Malone had this ferocity about him, the strength about him, and he was just that damn intense about wanting to win, wanting his team to win.
Right.
He helped elevate that city of Utah as far as that team. And he's great. We don't have to go on and on more about him because you've already said enough as he being your number 9. But yes, Karl Malone is my number 8.
All right.
Okay, drum roll. Number 7.
The big man himself. Now, when we talk about big men, there are none bigger than
the Diesel.
Shaq.
The Diesel.
The man who
the
brought
big
us
Aristotle.
The Shaq attack.
Ooh,
what can you say about him? Charisma. Can't shoot a free throw for his life. However, dunking, the power. I can't even remember. Maybe he got hurt a couple of times. I can't even remember. But
he played
very seldom.
Very durable. He was very durable.
Seldom. And you look at it. Look at the size of him. I mean, he was built like a brick shithouse. Huge. But he could move. He did the height. The weight didn't hold him back. He did have to be careful now because as he got older and the years went by, he did have the tendency to get a little bit, heavy. And I think that was, in the end could have been a little bit of a hindrance to him. But still, I mean, 15 times NBA All-Star. Of course, once again, he's definitely going to get Rookie of the Year. There's not even a problem. And he's one of the best commentators of basketball in this day and age, I think. I think him and Charles Barkley together,
along with Ernie and Kenny
along with
Smith.
Ernie and Kenny, are
Johnson,
just it's entertaining, very, very entertaining.
Yes.
And I have huge respect for Shaq because he always gives props to the people that helped him along the way, and doesn't take anything for granted. Like where he is now, he never takes it for granted. He's a good man. He was an amazing player, and that's why he's my number 7.
Well, Shaq, you know what? I gotta respect that. I'm glad you put him on your list, though. I mean, I wish I would have. I mean, I wish. No. I'm glad you put him on your list, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because maybe I agree with you, maybe I don't. But it's your personal list. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm glad you spoke.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No. You don't know if I did or not. You don't know if I did or not. But the thing is that I always respected Shaq. Big time, big respect for his game. He was a monster down there. He dominated other centers. That's not. There's been a couple of centers. There's been a couple of people that that have made him look like he's normal. Yeah, but for the most part, he was a very dominant big man.
Yeah,
very dominant, and you had to really have skill, great skill and heart to go up against Shaq under there. Now, my number 7 is, you've already mentioned him, as your number, believe it, number 8. Where was Durant?
Yeah, 8.
Durant is my number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, my number 7. Durant, I've been a Durant fan since he was in college, come out of Texas. There was something about him. He was so thin, but he had so much range to his game that it was crazy that he can just pull up. This was one of the few times that I can see a guy dribble the ball up, going up like he's going for a fat, but pull up at the 3 and just shoot a 3 effortlessly. I mean, he had enough to where, he was almost. There was a time, even Kobe said, the guy is almost unguardable.
Right. And
Kobe also said this as well, as far as guarding him. It's one of the toughest challenges he has because the guy was so lean and he had so much fluid.
Right.
But so much fluidity to his game, and he's also a very smart player. Now, what's happening? Okay, we're talking about what's happening with Boston. That's not really that's not altogether Kevin Durant's doing about him.
Not.
They should be after you see the prior game. You go back as a coach, as a coaching staff, you go back and make adjustments to how you can free this man up, how you can get this man more touches. See, they're playing, he has Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. I'm glad he's here. I'm in Brooklyn and stuff like that. But he's getting a raw deal with a lot of things, and it's not like you gotta see the little things about it. First of all, Steve Nash, respect Steve Nash as a player and everything else, but he's never proven himself as a coach.
No, and he's not.
He's never had a coaching job. He brings along a guy that and strike me if I'm wrong, as a head coach, and I know I'm not wrong, Mike D'Antoni's never won a championship. So he doesn't have the championship DNA. I believe the only time Mike D'Antoni won a championship was when the Lakers were in the bubble and he was an assistant coach. I believe that. Now, that scheme that he runs, that's never worked for them when it came to the playoffs, believe it or not. So this is not the first time. So people, you have to think about it. This is not the first time that, you're looking at this and going, why is this happening? It's happening because it's meant to happen. Anytime you're dealing with Mike D'Antoni, this is meant to happen. He'll get you to the playoffs, right? But as far as going deeper and getting that brass, that golden, that ring, no, he's not that guy. But Kevin Durant, I mean, just to add on to a few things about the Slim Reaper, I like to call him, is that, look, he's won the champ. He got two rings already. Okay.
Yeah.
He's been even finals most valuable player. You know, he was finals most valuable player. That's when, you know, he played with Golden State. I mean, he's how many All-Star? You know what? Good question. How many All-Stars? I think he's got 12 All-Star, 12-time All-Star games, 12-time All-Star game appearances, 12 All-Star game appearances. He's only 33 years old. And the thing is that...
Oh, that's getting up there, though, for basketball.
But he's got... If you look at LeBron...
Yeah.
Look at LeBron. I mean, he's got 5 more years. I mean, this guy's going to break some records that you're looking at that you're going to say, wow, just like that,
Right.
those records are done. You know? I mean, it's something else. But Kevin Durant's an amazing player. Regardless of what's happening in the present, he's still an amazing player. And don't disband. Don't go crazy, Brooklyn, and disband that team. You wait till that Ben Simmons, he should be ready next year, you know, and stuff. And the Nets haven't lost yet. There's still playoffs going on.
Come on, babe. You know they're going to... I think they're actually going to get swept to my absolute...
I think they have enough in them they can win, squeeze out a game.
I don't think
or
they
even
can.
two.
And I mean, they lost... And what is going on with Brooklyn fans? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you guys not
This is
screaming and
New
yelling?
York.
We watch.
You're one of the loudest states in the whole
Cities.
country.
Yep.
No, state. Not even city, state. You're all loudmouths. I mean, for God's sake, put some of that into your cheering for your, you know, your
I gotta say that Nick.
basketball
I gotta
team.
say, as a Knicks fan as well, the Knicks fans are very, when it's time like this, you can hardly hear yourself in the garden.
Right. So, I mean, you know, Barclays is even smaller than the Garden. You shouldn't be able to hear yourself.
That's a debate. I don't know. We gotta look that up. What's bigger and what's smaller?
But you shouldn't be able to hear yourself at a Nets game either. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Anyway, let's get to what number are we up to? 6?
Well, number 6.
All right. So, for my number 6, I have one of your players. I think you might have had him at number 9. Was Kareem at number 9?
Okay. You made your list.
Yeah, Kareem
Cool.
Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, he's you know, he was a leader, an absolute leader, and I think you said enough about him. I don't need to go on.
I even broke down his stats a little
about
bit. There,
him.
right?
Yeah, his stats. I mean, you know, 19
Speaks for
times.
itself.
19 times.
Easily
19 times.
could be the greatest player of all time.
Is that the most 19 times? Is that the
I think it's up there. He's up there.
I mean,
that
says everything, really. 10 NBA final appearances. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really need to say much more about him. He's my number 6.
Okay. Well, my number 6. This guy. I always said, if ever there's a platform or any kind of way that I can express my gratitude to this guy, and I always remember though, and I've been doing this since back in the day. Even when I hated, this is no joke, even when I hated the Detroit Pistons back in the day, I despised the Detroit Pistons, right? But there's one guy on the Detroit Pistons team that I did like because of the way he played. Now, Isaiah Thomas, I love Isaiah Thomas. Much respect, everything else. Joe Dumars was a quiet assassin, you know, and everything else. I love the way he played. But this guy that came off, that used to come off the bench sometimes, and, you know, he would do his thing, just leaping up in the air, doing what he had to do, and getting in people's face, and being, you know, an intimidator at times and stuff like that. Dennis Rodman. I mean, I can't. You can laugh. I love Dennis. Dennis will always be as a personal favorite of mine. He's a personal of ball players. Reason being, Dennis Rodman, when he was in college, he could score. I mean, there were times when Dennis was put up the score, even in the NBA. Dennis would put some scoring numbers out. But Dennis's claim to fame, to me, when I really went crazy over Dennis Rodman, is when the Detroit Pistons played the LA Lakers. It was the second time around they played the Lakers. and they put Dennis Rodman on Magic Johnson. Lock them down. You would almost put Dennis Rodman on any player, and any star player on the NBA. Dennis would lock him down.
Yeah,
whether it was a
great
center,
defensively.
whether it was a center, a guard, forwards, Dennis would lock them down. And when it went up for rebounding, that's his defense. I mean, come on, Rodman
7 times
is he's a seven-time first defensive first defensive team
rebounding champion.
7 times.
Yeah, that's amazing.
2-time defensive player of the year, which he could have easily won more. He could have easily won that more. But most of all, people don't forget about it. But it's like, you think about Dennis, think about a goofball.
He was a showboater. I mean,
no,
come
he was
on.
not.
He was
Dennis
Dennis had
gained,
to be the center of attention.
Think about it, though.
All the time.
Well, think about it.
That's why you like him.
No. It's not that. The reason why I liked him because he was portrayed as a person with minimal basketball skills. Like he wasn't shooting 3-pointers. Right. He wasn't shooting. He was a very underrated passer. He wasn't shooting 3-pointers. He was a guy that did the dirty work. He flew through the air, and stuff just to get a ball. He was a guy that did the dirty work.
Seen. He wanted to be
That's
seen.
off the court. That's off the court.
And on the court. He was a showboater.
A showboater that paid
showboater
that paid dividends for every team he played for. A showboater that paid dividends for every team he played for. Dennis Rodman, people hated to play against Dennis Rodman. Not because of showboating, but it's because of his tenacity and the way he was.
I'll give him the fact that
player.
he was an amazing
Great
rebounder.
player.
But you've got him on your top 10 and you left off Steph Curry. You've got to be kidding.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. I can say this much. I bet you one thing. If Dennis Rodman had to guard Steph Curry wouldn't be doing what he's doing now.
Oh, yes, he would.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of players on our top 10. If Dennis Rodman had to guard them, there's a few players on both our top 10s.
I wish we had have got to see some of the matchups that we would never see now.
It would have been
really interesting.
It would have been David Robinson against Draymond Green.
Yeah.
But but trust me, Dennis would have made a difference in the outcome of a lot of games. Yep. Okay. We're coming down now. Number 5.
Number 5 is, I believe, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Okay. It's a good pick.
Yeah. I mean, he was, excuse me, he was also, I think, play styles a little bit, he was similar to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the fact that they were both definite leaders. He doesn't, his stats speak for themselves. They're not, super duper, but just as far as a player and an entertaining player without being a showboat like Dennis Rodman, he was, very entertaining and very fun to watch. I found him just great to watch in his games. He was a 2-time NBA defensive player in 93-94 consecutively. He got his MVP in 1994 also. He did his thing, and I think
he beat our Knicks. He beat my Knicks.
Yeah, and plus, he's also 12-time NBA All-Star, and the same as Karl Malone. Well, Karl Malone got one more than him, but he has an Olympic gold medal for 1996 Olympics.
I haven't mentioned the gold medals that a lot of guys on my squad have, but I didn't go into that.
I think the Olympic gold medal is a big thing.
It's a big thing. No, I'm not belittling it.
You can't belittle
I'm not belittling
it. I'm
not belittling it. I mean, they got
even just to make the NBA Olympic team is amazing.
God, yeah. I mean,
it's not easy. It's not easy. Not everybody makes the team.
No, not everybody.
So that's my number 5.
So number 5. My number 5 is a person that you mentioned. No, that you mentioned as your notable. one of your notables.
Kawhi
Leonard.
Oh, okay.
Kawhi Leonard is my number 5. I can't
Kawhi.
help
You
but
him.
love the claw.
Yeah, you love him.
Let me tell you something. I mean, but the thing now is that he's getting hurt more often, and that's what's taking him down a little bit.
I mean, when was
because
the last time you saw him play?
I haven't seen him play in a long time.
When was the last time you saw him play?
I haven't watched him play. I mean, it seems like a while,
It's
but he
been
had a serious injury. That's a serious injury.
That's a problem.
I mean, it can happen to anyone, though. But the
thing
thing is,
it can.
Him. Look at this guy right here. Giannis just stepped on Vucevic's foot. I mean, that could have been his whole thing.
Wait, sorry, everybody.
But sorry about that.
The Milwaukee Bucks and Chicago Bulls game in the background.
Yeah, playoff game. Kawhi Leonard. I mean, watching, he's a guy with so much skill that is sickening. I mean, and the thing is about Kawhi, I'm not speaking even about the championships that he won, with the championship that he won with the Spurs. I'm speaking of the one that he won with Toronto. I mean, he played one season in Toronto and took them to a championship, and beat the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just take that into consideration. I mean, he did this, but he did it the way he did it. It was like not a one-man gang. I will never take away from Kyle Lowry and the rest of the guys.
He's got 5 rings, I think.
No. Kawhi only has 2 rings.
He's only got 2.
Yeah, he has 2 rings.
Oh,
he has
okay.
2 rings.
Oh, okay.
The thing is
potential to have 5.
He has he can possibly have 5, but Kawhi, he's a 5-time All-Star. Mm-hmm. He's only 30 years old. Made his debut in 2011. I mean, here's what I love most. I mean, he's 3-time, like I talked about Rodman. I love when people play defense. He's a 3-time All-Defensive first-team player. He's a 4-time All-Defensive second-team player. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's a 2-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he's 3-time NBA first team, 2-time NBA second team. I mean, he even led the NBA in steals in 2015. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is sick. And on top of this, I don't mention this neither. He is one of the 75 greatest players of all time.
He did almost make my he's in my notables.
Notables is good.
He did almost make my list. I do. I love Kawhi.
Limited it down to 10. I had to limit it to 10. We had to limit it to 10. This is be precise.
Otherwise, we would have been going on for hours.
Right. Again, like mentioning Jordan. I mean, I like Kawhi more than I like Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? I like Dennis Rodman more than I like Michael Jordan. I like when Dennis used to beat him up. I'm just joking, but
we are not advocates for violence at all. We do not advocate violence on this show. Okay, let's get to the next one.
Number 4.
Oh, it gives me such delight to say this. Really, in my mind, he's my number 1, but he's not. He's number 4. Steph Curry. Yes.
Yeah, okay. He's a notable of mine.
Oh my God.
All right, he's a notable.
The fact that he is a notable is a friggin' joke. This man, the accolades that this man has is like pages long.
I like Steph. Don't get me wrong.
Not only that, watching the man play.
I almost changed.
You did.
And put him on.
Did.
I almost changed him and Jordan. I almost put them in my top 10 personal stuff.
3 rings. 3 rings. About to get his 4th, because I believe that they are going to win this season. The man is just brilliant to watch. Where he can shoot threes from is like beyond a dream. I've seen him like throw threes from half court. How many times? I mean, oh my God. But most players cannot do that. He can do that on the buzzer. He's done buzzer beaters like that. I mean, he's not on your top 10, Baby, you can change it if you want to.
No.
I'll
I'm
let
not
you
changing it
change.
because that means I'm selling out.
I
No.
mean, well, you're already selling him out. Everybody would agree with me on this.
Selling out.
If there's people that don't agree with me, come on, you're not real basketball fans. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
But Stephen Curry is my number 4, if not my number 1 in my mind. But I just have to put him at number 4 because there are, there's 3 more that are better players and that I do
That
like
you
better.
feel are better
That
players.
I feel are better
Personal.
players that are better players.
Okay.
He's been in 8 NBA All-Star. I can't even, if we go through all his accolades right now, we'll be going on for an hour because that's just how many he has. Steph Curry, you're an amazing player, you're an amazing man, you're an amazing husband, father,
Oh, God.
everything.
Oh, God.
Love you.
Oh, please. Okay. All right, fine. All right. Well, we're moving on. It's your ode to Steph Curry. Okay, I get it. We all get it. Okay, we get it. Okay.
If he writes
My
a book,
number
baby, I
4.
want you to read it.
Oh boy, yeah, right. Okay, number 4. My number 4 is Moses Malone.
Oh, God.
Moses Malone. Okay. The reason why I love Moses Malone, I watched Moses Malone play. I happen to have been a big fan of Moses Malone. I feel Moses Malone, I think some of it comes from, I feel Moses Malone is very underrated when it comes to when they talk about the greats, the great centers, the great players. People forget about Fo. Moses Malone came to Philadelphia and joined up with Dr. J, and they asked Moses in the very beginning of the playoffs when they were playing, they said, Moses, how do you think these playoffs are going to go? Moses goes, Fo. That meant they're gonna sweep everybody, and they did. I watched Moses Malone.
Wow.
I watched Moses Malone not play against, but dominate Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the championship series, and that wasn't the only time I watched Moses Malone do it. Now, mind you, guys. I am a huge, I'll say it again, I'm a huge Laker fan. I watched this and I was not mad at Moses Malone because in that time, everybody was sympathetic towards Julius Erving, although Julius Erving had won an ABA championship in the past, He had won an NBA championship and he was the elder statesman at the time. So when they got Moses Malone, Moses just put them over the top. Philly had a great team too, though. They did have a great team. But Moses Malone was dominant. They were, you couldn't mess with Moses. And the thing about Moses was he was unselfish when it came to teaching people off the court. Like most of my players that I have on my list, they teach other players little intricacies of the game and fundamentals. And Moses Malone is one of the first people, was probably one person that taught another guy that's on my list, the game, before he really started getting into the, playing NBA. Being a star that he was, Moses Malone schooled him and taught him the ins and outs and what to do and how to do this and how to do that. Moses Malone, he's champion. He won one ring. He's a 3-time NBA MVP. 3-time. He's a 13-time All-Star. He had 1 All-Star appearance in the old ABA and 12 in the NBA. His jersey has been retired by both teams he's played for, Philadelphia 76ers and the Houston Rockets. He's also a member of the 75 greatest players in the game. But Moses Malone, I'll always just remember Fo.
All right.
You ready for number? Are you ready for
top 3?
Top 3. Ready for number 3.
MJ. Now, not the MJ you're thinking. The other MJ. Magic Irvin Johnson. It's
Irvin Magic Johnson.
Well, I like to
put respect. Put respect on that man's
magic,
name.
the man's
respect
magic.
on
The
that
magic
name,
has
that
to
man.
go first.
Okay.
Nah, magic. He is magic. Everything about him is magic. 10. Yes, you heard me right. 10-time NBA champion. Now, 5 times as a player.
It's a good pick.
And 5 times as an owner executive. But 10, he has 10 rings. 1 for each finger if he wants to. 10. The man was simply magic. He is so magic that there is a statue of the man in front of the Staples Center.
Yeah, that is crazy. He joins, you know who else had, I believe it's Shaq, and I believe Kobe has a statue now there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know Jerry West is the logo. I mean, those Lakers.
They're
but
talking
anyway.
about changing that too. But he is, yeah, I mean, you don't even really need to say about his accolades and everything because everybody knows who Magic Johnson is. Everybody loves him. And I'm sure he's in everybody's top 3. It would have to be. 12-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP. Just, oh God, the power of the man, the magic of the man. Fantastic player. Number 3.
Okay. That's your number 3. Well, my number 3 is someone that you've mentioned at your number. Let's see. I think he was your number. Let me see. The Dream. Where did you have the Dream at?
I had the Dream at number 5.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. I have my player is Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon. Or when he first started, it was Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon. I can't say much more about possibly my most favorite big man of all time. You know, this guy played like he was he could play at times like he played a center position perfectly. But the difference between Olajuwon had a ferocity that showed. I mean, I don't think he purposely made other centers look stupid, but it came out to be that way. Anybody that went up against Olajuwon, they were in a war. Any center, whether it was Shaq, whether it was Patrick Ewing, whether it was David Robinson, you know, those were the top centers you had at the time. I mean, there's rumors that he even, you know, took the heart from his own teammate, which was Ralph Sampson, who at one time was great. But after practicing with Olajuwon every day, it kind of took his heart. You know, they were known as the Twin Towers. I mean, Olajuwon was just, you said a lot about Olajuwon, I believe. You know, you read stats and stuff, you know, you come up with the stats and everything. But I gotta say, to this day, I can watch tapes of him. His footwork is incredible. He taught a guy that's also on my list, like that footwork and just to stay in that post, how to be a great post player. Probably the greatest post player of all time. And he taught a couple of players, but one notable player that's on my list that he taught him how to use that footwork. And you know, and as far as my list, some people play off each other. Like Moses is the one that I was speaking about, the guy that taught the guy that Moses Malone taught or schooled on how to play that position was Hakeem Olajuwon. A lot of that skill that Moses had, he gave it to Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, Moses started out as a Houston Rocket, in the NBA. He was a Houston Rocket. And Olajuwon was drafted by the Rockets. So that relationship was very close, you know, at the time. I mean, for the rest of, until, regrettably, Moses' passing. But yeah, I mean, Olajuwon is the man to me. I mean, when it comes to centers, he's my favorite center of all time. All right. But number 2.
Oh, this one's a hard one. It's really hard. It wasn't hard to pick, but just hard to say. The late great Kobe Bryant is my number 2. Still can't believe he's gone. Definitely one of the best players ever to play the game. 5 NBA championships. 5. He has taught so many of these young players today that we're seeing. I believe
Influence,
it's an influence.
The influence.
Yeah, and also
He did teach
he
them.
helped. Yeah,
He
he
developed
he
them.
helped
Yeah.
develop them as players.
That
Some of
Mamba
these young
mentality.
guys, that Mamba mentality. Some of these young guys on the Boston Celtics team also.
Phoenix Suns.
There's a lot of them.
Atlanta
And
Hawks.
He probably is one of the, if not the most respected player in the history of the game.
How would, well, I don't want to get into how would you say that, because this is like, you know, that's another,
Well,
that's
I mean,
for another conversation.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's within this, you know, as long as he was playing, but
Respected as far as the player.
respected as far as a player and as far as what he did for the sport. Once again, he was, you know, of course, 75th anniversary team. Both of his numbers were retired by Los Angeles Lakers, number 8 and number 24, and he's still, you know, sorely missed. It's still still an open wound for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I know especially for you also.
Yes.
But rest in peace, Colby, and you're my number 2.
Okay. Well, my number 2 has been mentioned, you know, by you as your number 3. And this guy here, I mean, first of all, I said thank God that he's still around, you know.
Yes,
I mean,
thank God.
when word came out that, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, you know, we're talking about Magic Johnson. He's my number 2. Magic easily was my number 1 player for many years of all time, my favorite player of all time. The thing about Magic was we knew Kareem was the captain. You know, we knew Kareem was the leader, but all leaders, they need that man, that guy with them by their side to, you know, to drive it as well. They need that guy. And that was Magic. And then when Kareem had, you know, gained in time or whatever, Magic still led the team. He still, you know, still was that focal point. But Magic was the type of player to make you better. I've always said you could put like 3 or 4 of the guys on the squad with Magic Johnson that were college kids, and Magic will find a way to make that team very competitive. That's how Magic Johnson was. And I don't have to go all in all into Magic because you spoke about him earlier, but the one thing about Magic that got to me, I never forget, back in 90 or 91, I can't, you know, the years sometime get me, finding out about the HIV when he caught HIV. Devastated me. Watching Arsenio Hall show, watching Arsenio Hall talk about it. You know, he was in tears and everything. I mean, it was a killer. That was a killer for me. You know, that was my favorite player.
Well, the first thing my mind went to when I heard about that was that he was going to die.
Back in the day,
it was back in the day. We didn't have the medicine and stuff, everything that they have in these days.
He thought he was going to die.
Exactly. It was scary as anything. That was one of the biggest shocks as far as sport in the sports world that I ever experienced.
Right. That was at that time for me as well. That was one of the biggest, you know, that was one of the biggest things in sports that devastating news, sad news that I ever heard at that time. But I'm not going to stay on Magic. He's my number 2. So let's just get to this.
All right.
Once again, we will reveal our notables, though.
Our notables.
Before we announce our number 1, we'll forget the ones that just missed the personal top 10 list.
Right.
Start with you first, baby.
Okay, so Scottie Pippen, Giannis.
Antetokounmpo, just pronounce the name.
Well, I just call him the Greek freak. Kawhi Leonard, Patrick Ewing, and Cp3 Chris Paul.
Okay. Well, mine will be, again, very controversial. Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, and Steph Curry.
Don't even want to hear your last one because it's a joke.
Okay.
Not
Now,
putting Steph in
now,
the top 10.
number one.
Still can't get over that.
Well, they're going to kill me in the comment section on this one. But anyway,
Yeah, please do. Please.
Oh,
please
yeah, like I like
be
to say,
honest
as I
with
always
this.
do.
Stephen Curry, he left him out of his top 10, everybody.
But as always,
Comment.
that whoever watches this, please like, subscribe, share. Yep, try to build this page, okay?
All right. My number one goes without saying. He is the best player in the history of the game. I don't care what anyone has to say. That is just a fact. And it is Michael Jordan.
Be like Mike. Sometimes I wish that he was me. I think it goes like that, right?
All right. Yeah. 6-time NBA champion. 6-time NBA champion.
Means nothing to me.
6-time NBA Finals MVP. So what does that mean, baby? He won 6 rings.
Yeah, so did Kareem.
But he also won the 6 MVPs that go along with those 6 rings. Those 6 times. I mean, my God. 5-time
so did Kareem.
5-time NBA Most Valuable Player. Oh, God.
So Kareem was 6.
No. 10-time NBA scoring champion. There are so many accolades that this man has that he deserved the right to be a little bit of a selfish player. Was he? Yes. Did he like to pass the ball? Not so much. If he thought he could take the shot, he would take it. And most of the time, he would make it. Scottie Pippen. They had their things. But...
No, that was until after, until this Jordan did his All About Me show that he had.
Oh, no. I'm talking about
problem.
on the show. That's what I'm saying. They had their
that's
thing.
after,
They had
that's
team.
after.
No, that's what I'm saying. They had teamwork in the Chicago Bulls when they played with each other. They played as a team. But you've got to say, Michael Jordan is the best player that there ever was, ever will be, more than likely. And also, not only that, he was a selfish player. I have to say.
Well, you know what? To back him up, though, you got to understand something. I really don't think he was selfish. I think that he grew.
He was arrogant.
No,
there was an
he had to
arrogance
be.
about
That was,
him as a
but
player.
that was the time. Honestly, that was the time of basketball. That was the time in basketball.
That's very true.
They were rougher then. They were. I mean, they were.
They're not soft.
I mean, they talk now, but I don't want to say.
It's soft.
The game has changed.
The game has changed,
It's
and
not
they've
the
made
same.
it softer.
Right,
You can't do what they could do back then, the way they played back then. They couldn't play that way now and get away with it.
Oh, if Michael Jordan played now with the rules they have now, Michael would probably be scoring like 60 points every other game. 60 points or something that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
you can't touch him. You know that he can't be touched.
Right. If he played, I mean, they changed the rules for him already for them hard fouls, But this right here is ridiculous.
He's not only a superb basketball player. He has his own movie. He's got. Well,
I think he also owns a team. I think he also owns some of Nike. I think he also owns a Nike owner. I think he's
poor Magic. Magic probably even now is probably.
Yeah,
regretting that decision.
Magic decided to go with Converse.
He went with Converse. They took it to him first, but Mike got it. Space Jam, The Last Dance. I mean, he is an entity, not only within the basketball scene, but the sports scene. I mean, his name is known all over the world. You could go to Japan. You could go to China. You could go to Dubai. You could go to Burma. They wouldn't even know who he is. Michael Jordan, yes.
Just to echo with you, the thing about Michael Jordan that I loved about Michael Jordan while playing the game, anything else, but in my mind I still remember because I would play here and there myself. I would play some ball myself. And the one thing that I learned from Michael is defense. Michael Jordan if you had the ball if you were an opposing team and you had the ball anywhere near Michael Jordan, you were getting either stolen. It was you were getting
stripped.
harassed. You were getting stripped, harassed.
Stripped.
Anything. Michael Jordan just had a killer. He had possibly the most killer instinct.
Well, you
out
have
of
a lot to
anyone.
say about him, and you didn't even put him in your top 10.
No, because I can't not say.
See, everybody, he can't even back up his own top 10. He's going on about my
No,
first
I go on
pick.
about Michael. Michael, no, because I like.
He doesn't like
Be
him
truthful,
as a person, but as a player,
to be
he
truthful,
can't say
I like
anything.
10 other players. The only other player that I would have probably taken off my list for Michael Jordan would have been Karl Malone, and I told you that. But the
Right.
thing is that I like Karl Malone. It's a personal.
It's a
not
personal
about
thing,
right.
yeah.
I like Karl
All
Malone.
right, well, that's my
more than
number
Jordan.
one, everybody. Michael Jordan.
So, okay, so well, my number two has often been called Michael's little brother, a person that comes closer than anyone to match Michael's intensity and winning spirit, and a person that devastated me a couple of years ago. Sitting in the same spot I'm sitting at, and looking at a feed on my Twitter saying,
We couldn't believe it.
about Kobe and Gianna. It was crazy. And but Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. I mean, Kobe Bryant was just. I mean, I used to run home from work, and I used to run home from work or just go to the bar and catch Kobe's games because I just couldn't miss it. I don't care if he was playing a regular game or champ, because Kobe just had this thing about him, man. Just his intensity, just watching that, it made me even a better person, as far as when I'm at work. I take things very serious. It's like, listen, this can get done. We can do this. That's the mentality Kobe Bryant had. I mean, and when you see this Mamba mentality, and you see that in players that he has personally, he's personally worked with. He's personally worked with Trae Young. He's personally worked with Jason Tatum.
Right.
He's personally worked with Devin
earlier.
Booker. You know what I'm saying? He's worked with these guys. I mean, there's other ones too, but those three off the top of my head, that's who I know.
And they're all top players now.
They're all top players. And I mean, and he's honestly respected by peers, guys that became, guys that came up after him, and he played against them, like the Durants and the LeBrons, the world. But no, Kobe to me he's my favorite for a lot of reasons. Now I want to mention somebody that hasn't been mentioned. Neither one of us mentioned. I think probably in the very beginning of this talk. LeBron James. Yeah, he's like that, ghost in the room there. My thing with LeBron is that don't get me wrong. LeBron James is a tremendous player. Tremendous player. It's just that there's a lot of things that he doesn't do to me, and it's like LeBron. A lot of things he used as his. He takes the NBA as his NBA.
But I think the media.
The media makes it,
perpetuates
but he doesn't help. He doesn't. But
No, he
it's nothing
doesn't.
bad. A lot of people, I bet you, there's people listening to this. They love LeBron James, and that's nothing wrong. He's a great player.
Yes, he is.
But I happen to like now. If you were to ask me, if we were to do a show about the top 10 players that we like off the court, meaning that what they do
Right.
for things like that.
Right,
I've always told you this.
He's gonna
LeBron
be-
James is
yeah.
number one to me.
Yes.
He's he's
Yeah.
up there. He's at least top 3.
Yes.
I think LeBron James, when it comes to helping out people, when it comes to causes and stuff like that, he's right
Right.
up on top. I don't care what people say.
And he's vocal about it.
Right. I don't care what people say, he's doing it for attention or for media, whatever. I don't care. He's doing something.
Right, he's doing it.
He's doing
That's the
something.
most important
He's doing
thing.
something. A person as a guy that
He's giving back.
as two people that are involved in a nonprofit and another community service thing, I have to definitely respect what he does.
Oh, yes.
And he's an encouraging guy. I love him. I love LeBron James. I'm not crazy about him all the time as a basketball
As a player. Right.
because again, he's another one. I think it's personal with me too in his basketball game, because when he flirted with the idea years ago to come to the Knicks. This goes back to that. To come to the Knicks, and he had this big sit down. Everybody in New York, we're rolling out the red carpet, everything like that, and he let us down. He went to Miami.
Yeah, he'll never be forgiven for that.
I'll never forgive him for that. So that's the reason why I think that he doesn't make my list, because he can do so many things. I'm contradicting myself, but he does so many things, and that's right. It's my personal my personal list.
And it's really personal to you because it hurt you when he didn't come.
Right. When he didn't come to New York, I was like pissed. I was like very pissed off. But anyway,
thank
for a long
you
time.
for listening to our list.
Yes, thank you very much. We took up a lot of your time, and we appreciate you listening to us. And we want you guys to have a great day. Have a great day, evening for your families. We only wish you health and happiness, you know.
Definitely let us know in the comments what you agree and disagree with. We can have a debate about that on our own later when we're reading them.
Yep. And God bless to all of you.
God bless.
God bless to all of you. Take care. Bye.